Hey, we are live. Landlords, if you're a landlord or a business person, you're going to want to stick around. I'm using the title "State of Emergency" to get your attention, plus to show you and prove to you that when people see these types of headlines, they react, right, and they tend to panic. My good friends, there's nothing to panic about. But if you're living in Ontario and maybe the same way, maybe same things are happening across Canada, North America, the world. Places are being locked down. COVID is running rampant. I don't have any um, particular opinions on that because it is what it is. Thank you for those of you that are joining me right now. I see you guys. Abel, how you doing, my man? Good to see you. Hey, if you're a landlord, if you're a business person, if you're in business, if you're employed, you're gonna want to listen to this. I've done multiple different videos and I've gotten everybody through this. I promise that this will be worth your time. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell, get notified the next time I'm doing a video. But we are talking about state of emergency. Ontario has now declared a state of emergency. State of emergency, if you can see, this is Ottawa, or no, this is not Ottawa, but this is somewhere completely dead. This man right here, well, he had to do what he had to do. I can't say that I would ever want to be in a position where I had to make these types of decisions. It cannot be easy on any leader. But a province declares new state of emergency. It's stay-at-home order effective Thursday. And so I wanted to talk about business. I wanted to talk about many different things. But mostly I wanted to talk to the landlords out there. If you're a landlord, and by the way, this is definitely something that it's going to affect us as business owners, as landlords. So I wanted to talk about it. But please, 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 please stay away from the news. The best news is not to have any. Anybody out there right now listening could probably agree that all news is bad news. But what I do want to talk about, which we're going live on Facebook as well, what I do want to talk about from a point of view of a business person and the point of view of a landlord, because under what I saw today, so this is very particular to Ontario. If you're an Ontario landlord, what I saw today, which when they declared the stay-at-home order, what falls underneath that is the landlord-tenant board, which currently the landlord-tenant board, if I'm reading it correctly, it's closed. So that means people cannot process evictions, any of their landlord-tenant board cases. I'm going to assume we still have to wait for some of this information to come out. And so what are the steps that you can take right now so you can be ahead of the game? So this is speaking specifically if you have tenants, if you are sitting there with tenants in Ontario, where today we know that there's, they've declared it state of emergency. That's what's on the news. My friends, some of this stuff is just to grab your attention. As you know, I don't watch news, but I couldn't help the overwhelming phone calls we're getting in our office today because people are obviously concerned. Some people are a little bit more than concerned. There's obviously panic. And so our job is to stay cool and keep everybody, keep everybody moving forward. And so if you have a business right now and you've just been shut down again, there's nothing you could do. I did a video back in March where I told everybody, you know what? Here's some of the steps. My first step is to stand in your truth and accept that life will never be the same again. And I got a lot of heat for that, right? People say, how can you say that? You don't know. You don't have a crystal ball. It doesn't matter about having a crystal ball, my friends. I could already see the writing on the wall. I could see that everybody, the world was about to change, and it did. And I don't. It's not like I want to be right, but that's exactly what happened. I also did a video about what are the things that you need to do. 10 things that you need to do. If you go on my channel, you'll see some of the items that I have. But let me just pull that up here. Some of the things are like, if you're managing your income and expenses in your business, I would say, what are the things that you can cut? You have to go to preservation, right? You have to go to make it in another day. So what are the things that you can cut? I talked about, having cash flow on hand, expanding your credit facilities. If you have credit cards, if you have lines of credit, reach out to some of those people, making sure that make sure that you could expand some of those items. I want you to communicate with your staff, your investors, your tenants, everybody. Communication is the key. And see how you can deliver your product or service online. Now, this particular business, that I'm in, being a landlord and investing in properties all across Canada, you can't offer people shelter online, right? So I can't go virtual, but the way I deliver parts of my services can be virtual. Now, this is now specifically for Ontario, but let's talk about what happens if they close the landlord-tenant board. By the way, my friends, this is not the first time. If you go back to April, it was the same thing, and I'm going to use the same strategies because from March, April, May. I mean, we were in a situation where we didn't know. All we knew is that everything's on lockdown, stay-at-home order. I can't remember if there was a curfew, but it's not like we haven't been here before. So what I want to highlight is what are we going to be doing? And by the way, if you have tenants and you're a landlord right now, by the way, you can ask your questions. I see some of you. I'm on Facebook and YouTube right now. So if you're a landlord right now in Ontario, I'm going to go through some of the action steps that we're going to take. Number one for us as a landlord, communication. Communication. You want to make sure you're in consistent contact with your lenders, tenants, supporting staff, in-house staff, accountants. Looks like we're back. Okay, so we're back. But now you can't see me. Why? Okay, there we go. We are back, but I'm not sure if you lost the first part of the video, but if you did, that's all right. We're talking about Ontario, and if you're a landlord, if you have tenants in Ontario, what are the things that you're going to be looking at, the action steps that we're going to be taking as landlords. And I am here on YouTube. I'm live on YouTube, and for some reason the call got the communication got frozen. But I'm also live here on Facebook. So thank you so much. So the first one was communicating with your staff, tenants, lenders, investors, everyone. You want to make sure that everybody knows and understands that you have everything under control. You want to communicate and this is going to be a daily. This is going to be daily. The news can be very, 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 very misleading. We all know that. The name of this video was State of Emergency, and I'm gonna bet that a lot of people, clicked on that. Obviously on Facebook, I didn't put a name on it yet, but on the YouTube feed, I put Landlord State of Emergency. I know that you were attracted to that. People are attracted to these types of, clickbait, and so what happens is, you have to you have to put yourself in the perspective of your tenants. State of emergency, their main basic need is going to be survival, and a lot of people, they don't do it on purpose, but the last thing on their mind is going to be paying your rent. Now, the communication coming from our leaders can be misleading. I remember during April, there was a video. There was the premier. He came on and he said, landlords don't have to pay their mortgages, and tenants shouldn't have to pay their rent, and that's misleading because it's not true, right? Yes, we do have to pay our mortgages. What he was referring to was the housing market, and if you're in a situation where you have a house, yeah, you can get some deferrals, but we're a business and we can't get deferrals, and so these issues are, for us was misleading, and so we needed to communicate that with our tenants. Now, having said that, we needed to be very compassionate. We want to help people. It's not all just about collecting rents. I mean, sometimes, people feel alone and they don't know where to apply. Now, here's what I know. There's going to be a lot of government programs coming our way, and so you want to make sure you do your research. Do your research to make sure that you know exactly what programs you are going to direct these people to. Okay? This I know. So if there's anything that happens with the landlord tenant board where you're unable to evict people, the best thing that you can do right now is communication. Get in front of it. Start talking with your tenants, and listen to them. And if they have issues, whatever, work it out, and then direct them to the appropriate program. If you are in the process of filing an N4, and this is for Ontario specific, but if you're in the process of filing an N4, I would suggest that you file that N4 and you submit your L1. You want to keep the process moving forward. I think the stay-at-home order is like, I thought I saw 20 days or 25 days. So you want to be next in queue when that happens. You don't want to wait till it's over and then they extend it. Because once they do open up the landlord-tenant board, I think, just exactly, how they, what happened this summer, they're backlogged. Now, what I love to do is always negotiate. I want to negotiate with my tenants, and, if there's issues, that I can work out and we can, figure things out. That is one of my favorite go-tos, is try to negotiate and reason with people, human to human. I would say be very professional. Remember, this is a time where people are listening to headlines, reading headlines, watching the news, and maybe their anxiety is up. Maintain your professionalism. You're a professional landlord, so make sure you maintain that professionalism, and make sure that you're kind and you're respectful with people. There's a lot of mental health issues that have been increased, and so you want to make sure you're sympathetic to that. And you know, at the end of the day, this is just a part of the you know what of our reality, and we just have to get through it, and you will get through it, just like you know you did back in March. Back in March, no one really knew what was going to happen, but we all did what we had to do. We communicated with the tenants. We helped each other. We supported each other. We discovered all the different programs, and we got ready, and then we got through it. And you know, the same way we'll get through it again, and at some point, all of this will be behind us. That's for sure. But for now, we're stay inside. You know, stay safe. Whether you agree with what's going on or not, or whether you think it's you know it's not right, or an infringement on our rights, and all these things, all those things are I think are really irrelevant. Just follow the rules, and let's get through it. Let's get through it all together. That's the message I have for you. This is I don't feel there's a state of emergency, but you know I know it's topical in your mind right now, so I wanted to get on here and you know as a landlord, and if I'm speaking to other landlords, you know if you have tenants in Ontario, these are some simple action steps that you can take. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell to get notified the next time I'm doing a video, and we'll see you guys at the top.